Okay, I think we're back. I'll check. Yep, we're recording, and I don't think I need to mess with settings because we've done this a few times in a row, and again, I'll be messing with it in post, which is quite handy. We can just fire up. We are pretty much exactly where we left off. We ended the last level, we got into a teleport thing and got shot out in this room, and yeah, it's more just like 343ified Forerunner room. Not much to say here. I'll just cover the last things that came up in the last comment section. First, good observation made. Another case of like weird pathological one-upmanship was raised. The ship, the Infinity itself, is another very good example of like moronic JJ Abrams brain. Like, oh, your game opens with a big ship. Well, our one is like, fuck you, it's like 100 times the size of that ship, and it's called the Infinity. Again, like the aesthetic link is broken, the name Infinity doesn't fit with the established naming convention at all, and just again, it's obnoxiously big and dumb. It's like JJ Abrams making a Giga Death Star for Star Wars 7, which shows up for like 5 minutes, blows up 5 planets instead of 1, because, ooh, look how much bigger his movie is. Don't you feel the higher stakes? Just, you get the point. It's a very crass and dumb way to do this. Other thing that was raised to me, this has genuinely just slipped my mind pretty much the whole time talking about this game, this and everything around it. Do you remember the Dorito Pope images of Jeff Cayley when this game came out? That's an important thing to talk about, that in the public's mind, like the mass mind, in addition to having like a completely idiotic, simple, and warped understanding of the campaign, what the single player is, there's also the issue of basically most people, to most of them, Halo was just like a proto Call of Duty, and the whole thing that was going on here was just like, you buy this game, the campaign is just like this nerd shit that doesn't make sense, that you just fly through if you feel like it, probably with a friend while just talking the whole time. And then you get into multiplayer, which is, you know, the real game, the real value, what people want, and yep, 343 managed to fuck that up really bad too. I remember the interest really dropped off here. They failed to adapt to the kind of emerging challenge from Call of Duty, which I think at first accidentally and then by design really converged on like a perfected slot machine appeal of getting people to play endlessly, whereas Halo, this is as far as like the neckbeard is correct. Like in the multiplayer, even if it wasn't trying to be, it was more like assembled out of this single player game parts. Its market niche is more like that of a PC game in that it's like complex, it's round based, it doesn't really like track long term, it's about having fun in the moment with various parts set up and systems you can master. Whereas by comparison, Call of Duty is like old people sitting at the slot machines, spawn, like you ante up your little amount of time and self-respect, and ooh, I got a kill, I feel slightly good, then you die, or you just die instantly, ooh, I feel slightly bad, let's spin up again. I'm sure you get that. It's the whole Icy Calm thing where you're just basically like, well, my expansion of Icy Calm's thinking that like, people basically gamble with their self-esteem when playing simple online multiplayer games, and that loop of like small pay-in, small potential payout, and it's fun to lose as well. It's basically the same psychological trick as a slot machine, I mean. And Halo wasn't really doing that, but it could always, like, a lot of people were playing it kind of incidentally as that, but Call of Duty gives the more refined kick, so of course they go for that. And in addition to failing to update to that, Halo also basically failed to hold the console PC shooter market by just failing to stay interesting and dynamic, instead becoming this weird, aborted half and half clone where like it's got some like weird arbitrarily selected Call of Duty features thrown in, which just kind of, they basically just narrow the scope. It becomes like a weird, almost like Counter-Strike, Call of Duty, Halo hybrid thing where you're like meant to play seriously in this slow game with floaty physics made for showing off and being observed from a distance. And like they start focusing less on vehicles and stuff because they're chaotic and less competitive, but just... You probably see where I'm going. I think that they really failed to think about why people would play Halo Online, and again, you read the old Bungie plans, they considered like the typical like team deathmatch premise of a multiplayer game party mode, and their ambition was like, yeah, we want to make like crazy dynamic living multiplayer campaigns that's like the potential of multiple people all over the world in one game. And that idea just kind of died on the vine, like basically no progress made in first-person shooter as like a conceptual framing for like big impressive action scenarios. They went completely backwards there. But big advances and mistakes, of course, remember Big Fry. Lots of progress, basically all of the energy, success and failure goes into trying to develop the kind of slot machine model. What a miserable state of things. Anyway, let's see what this thing does. Yeah, could that look less like it belongs in Halo? And I like shot it out of my chest like a Fortnite power-up. That was just surreal. Well, we might try that in a fight later.
Put me in the console.
I was hoping we'd be seeing Marines or something now so we could have a more dynamic level to show off, but we're still in like the butt sci-fi gaming PC dimension. Sorry about that. I didn't make this game. Whoa, instead of being inside a ring, I see a strip of a world around me. I see a whole sphere. Again, it's just crass one-upmanship. What is the significance of the sphere? Why should I give a fuck? Why is it like glowing with gamer PC parts? Anyway, what happens if I do this?
Where's Infinity?
Is she like slouching as well?
Right. But Infinity is definitely not here.
We're in the core of, I guess it's called Requiem,
That
she's
satellite in the
decided.
center is amplifying the ship's broadcasts like a relay.
Fascinating.
Maybe we can use it to respond.
Perhaps.
I've seen people say the Master Chief's armor in this game is a toilet seat. I do see it. Look at the like rim around his head, it just looks bad.
Can you get us there?
Opening a gate to the first beam pylon. Pull me and let's go.
Okay, does this take us to Lasky, my new favorite character, I'm sure, and all the Marines? I'll just get in here.
This is the first pylon?
Negative. This is as close as I could get us. Hope you don't mind hoofing it a little.
This is like the start of a Crash Bandicoot game level, like we get into the portal and get rolling. Okay, and we do another, like, half-assed reveal where we step out of the opening into a new area and... Whoa! I'm blown away by this, like, shitty Chinese Destiny competitor level design. Again, like, crass, nonsensical glowing highlights. It's an obsession. What is this? Is it lava? Is it, like, tech stuff? Like hard machine light? I don't know, but I hate it. Also, there's mushrooms. Wahoo! Oh yeah, of course, I thought I'd at least be able to stand on the big one, but no, I just clip right through it. That's super. Kojima-san walks in. Anthony, shoot that mushroom. Don't worry, Mr. Hideo, we're at least another 20 years ahead of America. They're going backwards every time. What's up here? Just, if I go up here... Yeah, I still can't tell if that's lava or, like, hard light. Okay, we're going to run an experiment. If I jump into it, will I fall through or will I fall onto it? Place bets? Here we go. Okay, you fall through it, so is it a liquid? If it's a liquid, how come I can just, like, shoot it like it's a solid surface up here?
Contacts.
Does this look like a liquid to you? Is it behaving like one? Does this look like something the Chief will fall through? Well, I guess my foot clips through it, kind of. Oh god, look at the way he, like, rolls his ankle to kind of match the terrain he's on. Yeah, Mr. Kojima, don't worry, they're not catching up to Death Stranding. Anyway, I'll check again, we're recording. Sorry, I just get paranoid about this. Yep, we are, no problem. Let's see where this level goes. Do I get to meet a Marine soon? I doubt it. I doubt 343 understand why I would find that appealing. Okay, now I fight the, like, angry mantis bugs. Great. Look out, I've got the Overwatch rifle.
Those weren't the same things we saw in the terminus.
Similar cortical footprint as the tower AIs. They're connected, all right.
Why is this solid piece of metal bleeding hunter blood decals? Ah, just stupid. Like, I get that they're meant to be, like, bio-organic, but they just don't look biological at all. Like, where the fuck is the blood? And what's a bolt shot? Oh my god, that was so bad. Alright, this weapon gets a shot like all the other ones. We're going to fire it, and I want you to appreciate the sound. Okay, apparently I can't just pull the trigger, it does that. Jesus, that looks like Overwatch. So this is like a shotgun, and the sound it makes is kind of springy. It's like bring, bring. Again, it sounds rather tactile, but not in a pleasing, heavy way. Like I'm firing a real thing, and that real thing is weak as piss and couldn't hurt anybody. Here's another Overwatch gun, the suppressor. What do you do? Do I even need to say it? It sounds like we're firing fucking Nerf darts out of this one. Jeez. And just all these, like, flippy, like, spring out, snap back in plastic parts. Does this feel violent to you when I fire this? And I don't like the Master Chief stopping to press buttons. Yeah, that, like, pulse back and forth also bothers me, as opposed to, like, the weird, like, hazy, maintained shimmering of the first game's ones. Again, it's gone from, like, fog to just, like, hard sci-fi butt lasers. Alright, anyway, so 2 guns, let's go. That is so Obama.
Well, he's just a ray of sunshine, isn't he? From that peek under the hood, I'd say these constructs must be mimetic in nature.
Yeah, so these things are based on humans, whatever. I'm sure the lore explanation is obscenely dumb. I was just thinking, that felt really weird just because that, like, never happens in Halo. You get, like, control taken away for, like, a in-game cutscene like that. The closest we got was, like, in 3 during those stupid flashback bits, which I hated. That was sort of like that, just something grabbing your screen to do something retarded. Oh, I have to fight these now, don't I? This looks even dumber than the dog ones. Look at that. Why is it a bug? Oh hey, and it shoots more bugs. Well, I can do that too, fuck you. Wow, firing this at enemies feels atrocious. Like, I don't care if it's killing them, it feels like I'm not doing anything. And what's your gimmick? I guess I just shoot you when you die? Awesome. Oh, he's got a shield and my thing is overdoing it. And he teleports away, that's just super. I want this fight to take longer. I was just thinking that to myself, that's awesome. Oh no, that thing's making the shield, that's not my thing. And he sparks away. That's just gay and unsatisfying.
That momentary flash we're seeing is actually a data purge.
Ooh, it's a data purge.
So far, I've pulled multiple strings referring to the big ones as Promethean Knights. Beyond that, though, things get a bit dense.
Promethean Knights, that reminds me of the Knights of Ren from the Star Wars sequels. Again, those comparisons will just be coming constantly because more than any other video game, like how Halo Combat Evolved reminds me of Prometheus and Alien Covenant more than any other video game, this one feels, it's comparable to a lot of its video game peers, but it's a JJ Abrams movie. Promethean Knight is exactly the kind of thing like an idiot who thinks all fiction is interchangeable thinks is fucking awesome, and the class of person who would think of Promethean Knight would put that in basically anything. Like, if Frank O'Connor got control of Star Trek, he would also have Captain Kirk fighting the Promethean Knights. If he got Star Wars, the Skywalkers would be fighting Promethean Knights. It's butt sci-fi. It's people who think like sci-fi is when you have like space and lasers and like retarded stock genre shit that's like 100 times derivative of something that made sense at one point. Just you do like endless repetitions of Z-grade imitations of things that once made sense forever for the sake of just sheer novelty. Anyway, what was this gun called? I don't know, but it's got a really dumb sight, and let's fire it and see how it sounds. Okay, it's just an Overwatch battle rifle. I just realized the, like, sight is floating above the gun. Does that look obscenely fucking stupid to you like it does to me? Gee, this thing is only a slightly fucked design of a Halo CE gun, and doesn't it just look so beautifully sane compared to this? It's that sensation I tried to bring out. I don't think I did a very good job when I was talking about the short timers and Private Joker seeing the tank. Like, if you're just surrounded by idiocy, it really helps you appreciate something that actually just makes sense and works. You can follow the logic behind it. That's how I feel about Bungie's games, and how I feel about, you know, something that's practically designed, like a almost reasonable handgun. Anyway, I just realized I'm holding a new grenade. Let's see what this does. Yep, so it flies like a Temu LED, and it just does like a gay generic, like, you know, like Overwatch characters, like one of their number abilities. Throwing my area denial grenade. Look out, guys. Okay, now I have to fight two of these, like, retarded doodle bugs. Come on. That was exciting. Look, he's data purging. Look at that lore happen. There was another one of these idiots around, wasn't there? There he is. The way he did like a weird hop there. Like, I get that he's using his back, like he's got like a jet that functions like bug wings, but like, yeah, I feel like some idiot said like, okay, what's like the design theme, the design language of the new enemies going to be? And some idiot said, how about bugs? And bugs don't mean anything, they just thought like, we haven't done bugs in Halo yet. And they're just like, great, let's put like a beetle carapace and wing cover on the back of our like new elite equivalent enemy. And no one thought like how fucking dumb that would look. Nobody was trying to go for a certain impression. It's just some fuckhead said like, let's make them bugs. And you know, it's a 343 production, nobody has like a real reason for doing anything, so why not? Sure buddy, let's just make them all fucking bugs. You spoke up at the meeting. Okay, look in the top right, the 3 bullets become one big one. Is that interesting? No, but I bet some idiot who thought of that in the meeting felt very proud of themselves.
Contact Infinity if we don't get to that pylon and take it down.
Shut up, Cortana. How's that work? Did that kill one? Oh wait. And these things, the way they have like retarded VTOL wings, I just don't care for that. There's another silly monolithic tower out of nowhere. Let's try this. Nah. Is that the thing I just dropped, or is that a new one? Let's use this again. Maybe we can get through the level quicker and find something interesting. Oh, she said I have to disable a tower. Did she mean this? No, I think that's just scenery. Let's go then. Whoop.
The relay interference is increasing. We must be getting close to the pylon.
Okay then. Oh, God damn it. What was their thinking with like the structure of this game? Like superficially it almost emulates a couple of beats from Halo CE, and then it's just like, yeah, so you go from like the empty spaceship to like the Destiny corridors, which look like outside but aren't, and then you're just like in the sewer fighting robot dogs. Like, look at this. This is a sewer level. This is just like dark, indistinct bullshit that doesn't mean anything, and we're stuck here. And we've just been thrown here like immediately. We still haven't seen anything that feels like the point or like it's going anywhere. Jesus, these things are disappointing. Well, let's fire the scatter shot. Yeah, that sucked. That like flip down reload was way too like light and clicky. Again, these feel like plastic toys, the way their parts like flip open and snap together again. I don't get a sense of heft from any of this. Ugh, I do not like that at all. Alright, we're getting like digital distortion. Does that mean I've made it?
That's me. Something about moving through those portals is increasing the load on my systems.
Are you gonna be alright?
Don't worry. I've held off rampancy this long, haven't I?
Yeah, I don't have anything to say at the moment. I'm basically waiting for anything to happen. We're stuck in the sewer, as I just said. That's really what this feels like. And yeah, the game seems determined to empty out my ammo very quickly, but can't really organically cycle in new enemies so with new guns, so it's just the robots apparently keep armories in hallways. Why not? Does that thing like recharge, or can I just shoot it a bit and then leave it? I don't really... He kind of reacted like a shield broke and he did like the elite flinch, but I can't tell if he has one. It seems like this thing, whatever it's firing, does decent damage to it. I really just don't care. Again, I'm thinking, are we going to get the old Halo and Myth gimmick? Are these things going to fight the Covenant anytime soon? Like, do I get to use this gun on an elite and find out if it does damage to shields or not? Do I get to have any new dynamics introduced by the way these things move and these new guns? I doubt it. It's just... what's the fucking point of any of this? I wasn't bored of the Covenant yet, but... you know, these guys have their JJ complex. They have to... well, look, we have our own Covenant, we have our own Sentinels, something, you know, we're not just going to use your stuff that people have spent like more than a decade showing us they like and expect. No, we've got to make you fight the robotic sewer dogs. Great. I'm having a great time here, look at me go. Come on, just die. Alright, let's try this. That worked. God, that snapdown is so, like, light Temu plastic.
Well done, Chief. One to go.
And that reload, like slapping a pod in like we're reloading an espresso coffee machine, that's just cheap again. Alright, what was I doing blowing up 3 of these things? I don't see another one. Is it over there? Probably. There's more sewer dogs to kill. I'd look at a dead one closely, but the thing is they all explode, so I can't give you like a good living museum piece to look at. Well, not living, but you know, like, actually there. They are dead, like museum pieces, generally, when I look at them. That's what we've been doing with the grunts and the elites and so on. But these guys just insist on not leaving bodies, which is no fun at all. What am I loading into this? Like, these weapons having ammunition just doesn't seem to jive with the look and shape of these creatures. What the fuck is going on when the chief throws like a generic, like, plastic pod into this thing? Again, it's the kind of like totemic, idiotic thinking that, like, the bad kind of gamer will take for granted. Like, yeah, it's a sci-fi gun, it shoots lasers, and fucking you throw a pod in it to reload it, and yes, like the alien that's shooting at you with no signs he actually has anything in his hands, he's firing this thing and like carrying pods and reloading it apparently. It's not just like integrated into his robot body, no, the robot carries a gun and has to like go to an armory they share to reload. It's just... what is this? Like, I'm actually trying to look close at them to see if they have the gun in their hand. And I think they do, just it looks like really silly. Like, look at this guy's arms, how it's like sword in one and gun in the other. Does that look right to you? Sorry, everything is quick and they just refuse to, like, die and let me look at them, so you have to kind of get your glances in quick. Go look at the, like, wiki to get a look at these guys, I suppose. I'm sure they have names. The Promethean Knight units. Ugh. Yeah, can you believe that the Promethean Knights didn't make it into more games after this?
That's Requiem. They're not inside at all. They're moving into orbit.
Okay, so we don't get to meet the Marines. They're not on the planet yet. They're going to have their own Pillar of Autumn crash, I suppose. That's super. Am I meant to go up here? I just kind of wanted to see, but I suppose this is where the level goes. Let's just see what happens. What is in here? Well, that's a progress button. Captain Andrew Del Rio. Forward unto dawn.
They must have intercepted our distress beacon.
The beacon was pulled into Requiem with us. If they try to follow it...
They'll get caught in the gravity well. I'll keep trying to warn them. You just get that beam down.
Alright, that's our job, to keep this thing from crashing. Yeah, sorry this is like miserably stupid. If I play another Halo game after this, it'll be Halo Wars, which I think is a more benign game. It's what I was saying at the end of the last video. Halo Wars is what... it's like the only example we have of people other than Bungie making a Halo game benevolently. Like 343 kind of turned around and made their like sorry game with Halo Infinite, but that's not the same. Like, Halo Wars was genuinely like, hey, you love Halo, we do too. Here's us just trying to make the most goddamn earnest thing we can and trying to be our own thing. And yeah, it's not the most exciting thing ever made, but I think that's a noble effort. Does this end the level? Let's see. When they said, like, shut down the beam, I didn't think it would be, like, right in front of us.
It's working. The signal from the relay is starting to clear up.
They haven't hit the gravity well yet.
There's still too much interference to warn them.
And here's another Crash Bandicoot. Oh, there's two beacons, of course there are. There's our next Crash Bandicoot level transition. Super. Doesn't that feel Halo? Isn't that fun? Yep, and this thing that's about as exciting as a sewer just keeps going.
What are they doing here?
They're heading to the second pylon as well.
That can't be a coincidence.
Yeah, these guys being inside this thing is meant to sell scale, but it just isn't working. Like, those ships are meant to be massive, like a kilometer or something, so we must be in a fucking massive thing, but I'm just not feeling the scale at all. It just somehow is not impressing upon me that we're in something monolithic. I don't feel a grandness or presence to any of this. But anyway, let's see what happens to these. Bungie had some nice background details in their later games. There are things like vehicle battles off in the distance in Halo Reach, and banshees and human air vehicles fighting in Halo 3, but alright, what's this? They do have two types of thing to their credit, and they like pull those up and turn them flat a bit too handily for my liking. Again, the sense of like weight and scale is a bit off here, I think. Can I jump onto that? I kind of want to. What did I hit? It did look like there was something below us. Oh god, I have to do this again. Sorry about that. I guess they didn't expect me to want to see what would happen down there, but that's what we're doing this playthrough. We're going to really thoroughly look at this game, more thoroughly than anybody else ever has, I'm sure. If I'm wrong, please show me the more thorough Halo 4 Explorer. I'm genuinely curious. And by Halo 4 Explorer, I don't mean a guy like with a really like weird gay American voice laundering it into creepypastas. We found the 7 weirdest Easter eggs on level 7, on level 4 of Halo 4. Did you know that if you watch the alien ships in the distance, after you step through the second Crash Bandicoot portal, they'll actually move the whole way across and land at the other side of the sphere? Yeah, that's YouTube. We're surrounded by Halo videos, but is there a single one you want to watch?
That can't be a coincidence.
Anyway, what level are we on? Is this considered level 4? I suppose it is, because the first level was just that cutscene where Dr. Halsey is Joseph Kony.
Sounds like the Prometheans don't want the Covenant here either. The battle net's already lighting up with reports of resistance all around the pylon.
Okay, this might actually be interesting. I want to watch the Covenant fight these things. I really hope that's happening, but I bet they're going to mess it up somehow. Okay, this place is still hideous. It still looks like I'm playing a game Big Fry would cover that was made in China and lasts for a year. We're surrounded by more of whatever the fuck that is. Is that meant to be data? Is that the idea? Why are the drop pods so fucking fat? They had these things in Halo 2 and they were very slim. The idea was that it's basically the size of an elite. He stands in it like a coffin and kicks the doors off. Well, this is nice. They actually let 2 squads fight, just it seems completely one-sided. Come on, Elite, I'm going for you. Kill the new ugly things. Well, actually, they made you ugly too, so I don't care. But man, his AI is inept. But anyway, look at this again. Holy shit, you don't need to like Google what the Halo 2 Elite drop pods look like to see that this is wrong. And I get that it's a squad drop pod, but that doesn't matter because 90% of the mass is in the top. What is all that? I get that it's the doors and they flipped up, but jeez, could they have like made that like amount to an uglier shape? It just looks very like excessive. Those look like giant fat person fingers. They even have a nail at the top. And it's got that like, again, that like Armenian luxury like tiled metal surface and the green detailing. This is just obscenely fucking ugly. They had dropships that were very pretty and cool. They had the forked dropships in the first game and the phantoms in the other ones. And those look nice, I liked all of them, and then they've just decided to bastardize it all into this. Okay, and the elites have ranks, but like the grunts, it's all just like... it just looks like crap. I can't tell them apart that well, and like the headpieces just give them like giant cone heads. And they throw grenades like they're throwing Temu LEDs. And it's just, their weight and momentum is all wrong. Does any of this look good to you? Do you like watching these guys fight? Like, I will happily queue up the battle at the start of the beach level in Halo 1 over and over again because Marines and Covenant interacting is so entertaining. Look at this. This is just sad. Still, we're gonna watch it just because this is how I enjoy video games. And it means I don't have to think about it. Let's get a new angle. Why did they fill this area with mushrooms? Did someone watch that, like, essay? What do they eat? Oh, well, there's actually, like, a functioning ecosystem here. It's like the Porg. We think these things out, remember? Do you remember in Star Wars 8 how Mark Hamill's island has, like, retarded meme alien life on it? I feel like the mushrooms might have come from a similar impulse, I don't know. But they're just, like, very half-assed and very attention-grabbing at the same time in a way that pisses me off, for reasons I shouldn't have to explain by this point. Let's just keep watching this. So who's actually stronger? I don't know. This is a more even fight, and looks like there's still one elite left, and look at his profile, how much they wanted him to have, like, a, like, big, bony raptor, like, what's the dinosaur with, like, the giant bones sticking out of its skull? They wanted him to look like that for whatever reason. Everything has to be some kind of, like, dumb dinosaur in this game because 343 are just, like, insane cretins, and I hate them. Okay, if the Promethean Knight's dying is them turning into Data, why does shooting an elite do this? Is this a Data gun? Did I turn him into Data? Did 343 think about that, or did they just think, like, yeah, it's a particle effect. Gamers like particle effects. It's just, if you're playing something bad like this, making sense of it really is just like, I'm like the guy from Manhunter. I go into the crime scene and I just have to, like, reverse engineer what happened and put myself in the shoes of a psychotic. What kind of freakish, demented thing that we can't quite call a human thought process was necessary to make this horror possible? Manhunter, that's the movie that comes before Silence of the Lambs, by the way, if you don't know. I also strongly recommend the book Red Dragon, but not the movie Red Dragon. I could talk a lot about the character of Hannibal Lecter and why I like those, but the relevance here is just the protagonist of the first novel is a detective, and he's kind of like an empath. He feels things very deeply, can get into the minds of others. And the idea is that Hannibal Lecter is kind of a dark mirror of that, where he is also very good at getting into the minds of others, but whereas the detective, Will, gets overwhelmed by his contact with the feelings of others, he's just afraid of being overwhelmed by the darkness of coming into contact with bad people. Hannibal has this kind of cultivated distance. He's really... This comes out especially in the third novel and the excellent and poorly understood third film called Hannibal. Hannibal Lecter is a great lover of art, and that shouldn't seem like weird or nonsensical, the idea of, like, it's a trope, which is to say, like, something that's been taken for granted and repeated by idiots, that, like, oh, an evil guy has to like art, but Hannibal Lecter liking art is a very deliberate thing. That the whole point of the Hannibal Lecter character is that he is a man who appreciates people better than pretty much anyone else around him. Whoa, look at that canned animation, so badass. Anyway, where was I going? Yes, Hannibal appreciates everyone around him, just that appreciation does not translate into, like, caring about most people. It's the other way around. He's able to behave monstrously because he has a far more elaborate and thought out appreciation of everyone else around him compared to most people. And yeah, he just spins that into being a monster. It's just like superiority. He feels like he has humanity solved, so he, for the most part, doesn't care, but this rich capacity to understand others also makes him a great appreciator of art, because he's not a monster or just this, like, feral animal that wants to hurt people for the sake of it. He just, for the most part, finds humanity deeply boring and just kind of considers killing people a kind of amusing way to deal with the world, just kind of boring him and wasting his time. But on the flip side, when he does appreciate someone, he appreciates them better than most people. Like, if he's free to be where he wants to be surrounded by art because, you know, he gets it. He is a man who deeply loves art and, in a sense, has a great capacity to love humanity. Just, you know, he's the man who's got all of history behind himself to study and is a very powerful and capable man who can basically have his pick of any part of the human race to look at. He's got very high standards, and if he's going to really like humanity, it's got to be quite something to impress him. So the great works of the past are of great interest to him because it's just a way to, you know, sift through and just have a cultivated selection of the greatest people who have lived for him to make sense of. And going back to where all this started, like, a big prompt for me to kind of like systematize or just think about what I like in art was the lectures of Peter Greenaway, who very much thinks about art in this way. It's very funny. Greenaway is this great art house film guy. One of his favorite movies is Ridley Scott's Hannibal, the movie I've just been discussing, and it's very funny to think that Peter Greenaway, who I've been talking about since the early Halo Combat Evolved videos, almost certainly identifies with Hannibal Lecter. There are photos where he's, I think, very deliberately dressed like Hannibal is dressed in that movie, and he goes to Italy like Hannibal does. I can just imagine him in the theater alone, surrounded by people thinking like, what is this shit? This isn't like Silence of the Lambs at all. And then you've just got Peter Greenaway there, the man who made the Draftsman Contract, thinking, oh yes, Hannibal. He's just having the time of his life. He thinks this is the best movie about art and appreciating art ever made because it's about a man who just, like, kills stupid people because they don't get it. Which is largely what's going on in Peter Greenaway's films. Anyway, that's a very large tangent. How do we get that? Yes, that's right. I was saying that appreciating art is much like what the characters in those novels are doing. They're very rich psychological novels. Again, on the subject of tropes, I said, like, something is a trope when idiots are copying it without understanding why it was that way in the first place. And it's something I wrote about on RPG Codex, I think, how the first incarnation of something, rather than being more primitive in art, is very often the most elaborate and complete one, because to think of something, someone had to have a very full and rational reason for doing it. You don't really do something great for no reason, then find a way to integrate it into something intelligent later. Not that that doesn't happen, but it's quite common, if not more common, for it to be the other way around. Innovations are driven by, like, someone has something to express, and the form doesn't exist yet, so they make it. Which, again, is like, how did the Halo version of first-person shooter arise? It wasn't a random variation on Quake, like idiots think. It was a desire to just realize this physicality and reactivity that fascinated Bungie so much. And yes, back to the novels, well, the films, I suppose. The films are quite good at getting the gist across for the most part, even if most people didn't get it. This game is like a crime scene in the sense that by looking at it top to bottom, we can reverse engineer an understanding of the people behind it. There is what might be our lesson to imprint upon your mind for this episode. If you want to get into the mindset of, like, how do I think about video games like they're made by people, think of a video game like a crime scene. You are Will from Manhunter. That's a novel I strongly recommend reading. Or watch the movie watch the movie Manhunter. Read the novel Red Dragon. Don't watch the movie Red Dragon. Sorry, that's confusing. There are two movies. The good one is called Manhunter. It doesn't share the name with the novel. But where I was going, yes. The way that... And back to the idea of tropes, sorry, this interests me a lot. I'm on a roll now. Back to the idea of tropes. I realized it's very weird that Criminal Minds is just like a pointless bastardization of Silence of the Lambs. And before that, CSI, these are both TV shows, CSI is a bastardization of Manhunter. And the star of Manhunter, the guy who played Will, eventually starred in a CSI series, which is quite funny. But yes, the point of the crime serial investigation story as done by the Manhunter guy, I'm sorry I forgot the novelist's name, but like he didn't create it, it's like kind of an update on the detective story, but this particular kind of psychological thriller was the idea that, for one, it's about exploring demented minds, but more specifically, it's about exploring minds, if that makes sense. It's not as much about the criminal, though it is to a large extent, but it's about the person studying the criminal, and various interesting parallels come out between them as well. But I'll leave that for now. If you have questions or want to go into that further, please leave a comment and let me know, and I might have to make forum threads and such about this now. I did write about my admiration for the character of Hannibal Lecter before, and it was quite funny. Not long after I wrote that, Donald Trump apparently just like watched the movies again or something. I made that thread writing about how nobody appreciates Hannibal Lecter, and then like immediately afterwards Donald Trump starts saying like, "Oh, the poor doctor, Hannibal says he's gonna have him for dinner." I never looked up the context for that. I don't know why. I just think it's so funny that Donald Trump loves Hannibal Lecter, and probably doesn't get it on that level at all. He probably just thinks it's like, oh great, look at the bad guy, he's outsmarting everyone, what a great movie. And that's perfectly fine. But anyway, we'll get back to what we were meant to be doing now, what I was just contextualizing with all that talking. If this whole layout is a crime scene, what are we looking at? We're looking at a kind of bastardized imitation, a copycat killer scene, but, you know, again, they haven't done nothing, they've done something. I like that there's a crashed thing here and pods, but no, we don't see the Covenant this time. Maybe they just spawned, fought, and despawned while I was talking, but again, we don't have to have like a constant fight between the Covenant and, God, do I really have to call them the Prometheans? Look, there's blood. Maybe they were fighting, I can't even tell. That's kind of the wonder of the Halo engine. That fights do organically leave clutter behind, but also maybe it was placed as props, I genuinely don't know. Anyway, it doesn't matter because we're in a ghost, we can just fly past everything, but yeah, I appreciate that this whole like sequence they're trying to lay out is at least a battle. That's a good Halo thing. Okay, we're getting closer to the Marines.
The relay's signal is breaking up again. We're almost to the beam.
Okay, let's watch a battle. I'll restrain myself from talking for a bit. I thought this might be like 2 levels this because I was kind of progressing forward, but nope, just look at me go. If I play Halo for a little bit, I'm going to end up on a giant tangent talking about something. Del Rio is getting less gobbled.
They found the opening.
Uh-oh.
You better get up to that relay and fast.
Oh, is my ghost a bit messed up? No, it just apparently leaves like that stuff under it now. Okay, I just wanted to check, like, okay, it does still drop when I get out, but okay, the interior is like weird, ugly chrome. I'm not crazy about that, and then also just like, why is it sparking under the bottom? That feels very like un-Halo to me, like, and the way the sparks just stop at like a flat line on the floor looks really bad, like it's a moving texture or a GIF that's been like cut off. Do you get what I mean there? Like how it just looks wrong? I would really prefer it was just that like minimal purple waterfall backdrop behind it. If it was that, it would be fine. Also, these 2 like vent jets at the back are a bit much in my opinion. Okay, but what weapons have we got? I'm just dual shotgunning apparently, fine. And what have we got here? More stuff? Nope. I'm not gonna start another tangent, guys. We're gonna play the game for a little bit, don't worry. Oh, this guy lost his grunts, but I'm taking his Banshee as well. Give me that. What is the obsession that 343 have with, like, redesigning the Banshee every 2 seconds and thinking it's like the coolest thing ever to split the wings? They did this in the Halo Combat Evolved remake as well, and it just looks bad. Like, this thing having joined wings that are, like, on 2 props that stick out was a detail I liked, but this just looks bad. Like, the two props suspending like a little engine thing that leaves the trail I liked, but now it just looks like we have no propulsion thing. There's no like engine block sitting on the end of these wings. We're just like a pod with straight stiff sticks hanging off the side, and apparently we just like float through the air like we're just an object being picked up in like Gmod with the gravity gun, and like someone's just like pushing us forward through space. Halo has always done flight weirdly because things only really hover. It's like a quirk of the engine, but yeah, it worked well. Like, they built the Banshees like weird quirks and sounds and momentum around like the only way that they really could render flight in that game, and it worked fine. What am I even trying to do right now? Am I just going up here? Because I can just fly up, can't I? Oh no, I've got to... They counted on me doing that. I've got to destroy the things, so I've got to go down and get them. Not crazy about the score marks this thing gets. It looks like my ship has some kind of pox. Anyway, let's ditch this one and kill some things. Yeah, get hit with the data shotgun, idiots. Okay, apparently he didn't datafy, only elites do. This thing is just obnoxious. Alright, let's go punch the orb. Wasn't that exciting?
Power core down. Shield's weak, but still online. Take out the other two power cores.
Give me
access
that.
the pylon.
God, this thing looks so much like the Ghost, presented by Armenians who live in California. Look at that! Someone named like Rezvani thinks that's the coolest fucking thing on the planet. Does that like Dan Bilzerian own one of these yet? He played Halo 4 and tried to buy one. The only cool Armenian is fictional, Kevin from We Need to Talk About Kevin. What a hero. Anyway, let's go punch this. Can I go now? Can I stop playing this level?
Second power core offline. Good job, Chief.
I saw another Banshee up here. No, it was up there. Ah, screw you, game. How do I get out? Can I just go into this thing? Where's the entrance? Oh yeah, and I haven't talked about that. You sprint in this game. Every gun does something, but none of it looks good. Like, look at the way my rear sight, like, hides in the gun when I sprint and, like, jiggles there. And then it pops up. Why? What a ridiculous piece of machinery. Get deleted. Or turned into data, whatever. Let's use this thing again. With its ridiculous floating box sight. And what are you meant to be, like a hammerhead shark? Do they really do that fall backwards every time they get shot in the head? Why does he look like that? Why is every piece of headgear like a giant bony growth? Why? We're in the scene, I'm like Will Graham looking at all the bodies torn up and mangled, laid out in the moonlight. Why did this happen? What horrors? Who turned these people into monsters? Monsters who would do this. Okay, what did I forget? One of the... Yep, there's a third one. Good job. I'm trying to think about more entertaining pieces of art. I don't want to do this. I want to go, like, watch Manhunter again now. Really, go watch Manhunter if you haven't. That's a great movie, and think about Manhunter in relation to, like, Will's role to the killer. Think about that as, like, trying to understand a piece of art, and you can kind of get something that's deliberately played with later. Just, like, watch Manhunter, then watch Silence of the Lambs, then watch Hannibal, and you'll kind of get it. Or at least maybe you will. If you don't get it after Hannibal, go watch, like, every Peter Greenaway movie. Maybe you'll get it. And of course watch the man's lectures on art. They're really, really good. You can see at least a couple on YouTube there. Quite good. Him speaking for an hour or two, he's very, very entertaining and enlightening to listen to. Yep, there I go again. Anything but talking about Halo 4 because look at this shit. Look at that guy's Xbox 360 hair.
Planet's core? They know we're here. Infinity, this is UNSC AI Cortana. Do not approach Forerunner planet. Repeat, do not approach...
UNSC asset. Forward unto dawn. We read you, but you're breaking up. Help. Increase speed by 0.7.
Oh no, don't come
Negative,
in.
Infinity. Do not enter the planet.
If you can hear us, keep transmitting.
No! Chief, you've got to get that beam down now!
You'd think if they're flying like the biggest ship in the universe, they'd be more careful with it. Like, is it really the thing to be sending into unknown, mysterious, like, alive, giant spheres made out of alien technology? I don't know, what do I know? I'm just the guy piloting the Master Chief. But I would say, like, okay, let's send a smaller ship in and see what happens. This guy says, no, we're going to ram the, like, SS JJ Abrams straight into this thing. Not what I would have done. But, you know, that's a JJ Abrams plot. You think the Pillar of Autumn crashing was big. Here comes the fucking Infinity. After a whole opening act which amounted to fucking nothing.
Transmitter's not strong enough. Already done. Go!
Next Crash Bandicoot portal.
Once we're on the satellite, there's bound to be a central control point.
The Covenant are moving towards the relay too.
Oh my god, it just keeps fucking going.
Why would they care about a broadcast relay?
I'll handle them. You just find us that control node. I'll see gravity well.
A minute or two max.
Are you feeling it?
Covenant are making a
Are you
first
impressed by that
side of the
giant
satellite.
Reddit orb? This looks like something out of the Xbox 360 Dante's Inferno game. What are these guys doing here? I don't even know. Well, that was the question. What do they want with the giant transmitter? Good question. Firing this thing at them, no interesting results. It's just another Overwatch gun. Okay, well there's a big fight. That's entertaining. Maybe we can watch that and see if anything really interesting happens. Okay, these guys want to fight, fine. That guy's... I feel like animations which weren't constant in the old games are like every time reactions now. Every time an elite loses his shield, he does the little George Costanza losing his Twix dance. Every time they get shot in the head, they do the like Rage id Software like falling backwards choreographed thing. Well, that was also like a choreograph, like the physics were obviously not natural when he fell backwards, but was better. Did you see how quick that body got deleted? Jesus. Well, I suppose they're trying to put more into the scene, maybe. If that's the problem, then that's fine, I guess, but a bit disappointing. So I guess the Covenant won here while I wasn't looking. Good on them. With, like, 2 survivors. But yeah, like, if nothing else, that should just be, like, the premise of a whole Halo campaign if I were making a new one. Just, like, let's just constantly have stuff fighting. Like, is there some reason not to do it? Are you being stingy with the fun stuff? Gotta eat your vegetables before you can get the reason you play the fucking game. I'm here to watch entities fight. Just let me fucking see that. Not every game has to be Myth, withholding the fun from you for some insane reason. Myth and Marathon, old Bungie. Alright, so I've got this thing. I guess this is a sniper. Let's quickly fire it and see how it sounds. Again, it's like piddly Overwatch noises, like pew, pew. Like, again, very, like, lots of feedback, like, lots of attention paid to, like, oh, we want it to, like, snap back when you pull the trigger, but at the same time, like, we want it to feel really like it's shooting, and we want it to feel as far from a gun as possible. Just, I hate these people. Okay, they said like a minute or two until the thing enters the gravity well, and I am not being diligent about this. Okay, so the grunts can get turned into ash or whatever data ash, just the shotgun didn't seem to want to do it, but it's alright because we have that thing for 4 shots. Basically everything seems to have like power weapon ammo, like you find rocket launchers with more ammo than half of... In Halo Combat Evolved, I feel like the rocket launchers had more ammo than like basic weapons in this one, like plasma pistols are lasting me about 5 seconds. Yeah, look out, I'm throwing Temu LEDs at you. Oh, now it's a fight, they're both going back and forth. Yeah, I really feel like these things aren't doing anything. I might as well just like throw them off as ornamentation, make the battlefield more pretty. Yeah, he didn't like that, did he? My grenades, I threw like 6 at him. Oh no, we have to drop this thing. I was having so little fun with it. Storm rifle, the least interesting gun I've ever seen in a Halo game. Even less than the Promethean ones, I'll say that.
Chief, you need to hear this.
Okay.
Detecting a slight gravimetric disturbance near the planetary entrance.
Good one, idiots.
Altering approach vector 43K-750K-12K.
They're not diverting from the opening. Hurry, Chief.
Oh no. Alright, what do we got here? Scatter shots. I don't want any of these guns, and they're really determined to make me carry them. Again, this, like, it makes no fucking sense that the robots equip themselves like this, but these being fucking everywhere again feels like 343 one-upmanship. Like, yeah, every Covenant or UNSC gun you find will be out of bullets in 30 seconds. But don't worry, our guns are fucking everywhere. We're just going to drop them down your throat everywhere in ways that don't even fucking make sense. Yeah, I don't like these people. But is this the end of the level? I guess it is. Now I've got to fight more of these fucking tools. These grenades feel like they fly away quicker, but also just aren't reliable in the slightest. And there's like a Mario enemy, a giant eyeball that shoots a slow laser. Why not? Fuck it. Oh hey, there's an elite to help me. Oh, a team of them. Let's go, guys. Oh look, there's another like 5 racks of Promethean weapons. In case I didn't have enough of them. I was worried for a moment there that I wouldn't be able to use these awesome Promethean guns. Thanks 343, you've got me covered. That was fun. Oh, and he dropped one too, thank you. It's Promethean party. I love playing Overwatch in Halo. Okay, I think we've made it. This is the end of the level now. Get out of my way. I said I'm ending the level, he's not stopping me. Okay, here we go. Maybe I get to see Marine's next level.
Do you copy?
This is the fucking Sovereign cutscene from Mass Effect. Why is this happening in Halo? You are not Saren.
Chief? Chief, let go of the contacts.
Find us an exit.
Don't wait around on my account.
Wait, is the level not over? Oh no, I think it is. This does not interest me. Here's our, like, Darth Gold member from Star Wars 8. What a fucking absurd looking design. Again, it's a Star Wars sequels parallel. Here's a new villain out of nowhere who is a bigger threat than everything you've seen before. And he's only going to last for like one game until we retcon him, because you hate him. But until then, we're gonna treat him like he's the most important fucking thing in the universe.
So
And, you know,
fades the great harvest of my betrayal.
damn, that's deep. Listen how smart this guy is. I feel like video games did get over this, like villains who just talk in this like...
You were oblivious to, human. Your nobility has blinded you, as ever.
Your nobility has blinded you. Am I superior to this guy or not? What does he think he's saying?
Turning my own guardians.
Ooh,
My
listen
own
to all that
world
like in media res
against me.
allusions to shit we haven't seen. Can't wait to buy the novels.
What hubris to believe she could protect her pets from me forever.
Yeah, my
You
understanding
have
is...
mastered even these primitives. And man has not attained the
Yeah,
matter.
according to Bungie... Just read the subtitles if you want this scene.
Descendants.
According to Bungie, humanity is forerunners. According to 343, this pig man is a forerunner, and for no real reason I can make sense of, they declared humanity their successor race.
Now it has
And this
abandoned.
guy just said like, no, we shouldn't do that. But still says we possess nobility, but also we don't, because tropey video game writing, like downstream, even a bastardization of stuff like Hannibal Lecter I think bleeds into this game. They have this vague notion that like a villain should be insane, vaguely aristocratic, like superior, and like angry and insecure, just... This is just the typical like American pop media villain pathology is just such a like clusterfuck of overlapping inherited memes, which, you know, any few of them taken together were at one point thought through and formed a coherent characterization, but that's not the case here. Like, what the fuck is going on in that guy's head? He's just... It's just villain lines piled up all over themselves. This doesn't mean anything at this point. Sorry if that whole, like, trying to follow the cutscene and me at the same time was distracting, but I really think that guy did not say, like, anything of interest. And... yeah, I just think that what I say is accurate, that this is genuinely a game.
I'm going to channel energy from your shields to overdrive the ghost's food.
What I'm getting at in short is that this is a fucking game about nothing, so and that's always happening around this period, especially in Western video games. Like, this was peak stupidity. How do you write a villain when you have nothing to say? Everything about Hannibal Lecter is tying into the points of the novels that I was getting into before, but how do you write the Didact, or just any, like, shit Xbox 360 game villain who, you know, like, exists for no reason? You didn't have anything in mind when you were writing this. This is so fucking stupid. Again, just like a one-upmanship. We're gonna put our Warthog run in the middle of the fucking game when the whole planet is exploding. And yeah, just again, why? What are the stakes here? Does any of this feel earned? No. Like JJ Abrams blowing up like 5 planets at once with his Giga Death Star. It doesn't work. You can't just like do shit but bigger and have like 5 times the impact of a great work that did something superficially smaller and superficially similar but actually far stronger. Okay, I can't hear shit and you won't be able to under me talking either. The way the grunts are laid out in this scene looks so fucking cheap, how they're just running in a straight line, but yeah, I guess the UNSC are crashing, so hopefully we meet them next level, but just this whole period, every like Xbox 360 American game has like atrocious writing, and it comes back around to this thing of like, how do you do anything without like a coherent desire to express anything? You're just completely alienated from human pathos. What you have is tropes, which is just like meaningless aping bastardization of things that intelligent people were doing before you for reasons which were actually human and expressive. And yeah, just the villain speech from any one of these games is just such a great example. They can't write villains because they just can't really say anything. They just you know, motivations require some kind of human, but the good guy can always be reacting to the bad guy, and that's just like the Western standard at this point, that like, yeah, no one can actually fight for anything because it's illegal to goddamn want things anymore in the world, but, you know, the villain has to be the driving force, and then what you typically get in a Western work is incoherent villain and like dull, just reacting to stop them hero. And that's exactly what we have here. What pissed me off in Forward Unto Dawn, that movie, was that that's Lasky's arc. Finding meaning as a guy who just reacts to a enemy. He's like, oh, thank God, I don't have to think or resolve conflicts in my life now. I can just be like a cop and resist this force which attacks my society. Which, like a minute ago, I wasn't even sure was worth defending, but fuck you. It's a JJ Abrams script.
Track its descent.
I said I wouldn't talk much anymore, but things come to me. Okay, the UNSC are here, and there's our little Pillar of Autumn crash, and here is Sovereign, who is also the pig man with porcupine hair. You are not Saren. That just looked comical.
Same place we are.
Yeah, that whole sequence was a goddamn atrocity, so I don't feel like I robbed you by talking over it. Sorry if that was annoying for you, but, you know, just go watch the bloody cutscenes on YouTube if you want to get the story of the game. We're still roughly getting it anyway, but... Anyway, looks like we're in a new place now. The Master Chief has walked into a jungle, and we might look at this tomorrow.
Stay low. Recon sortie heading this way.
Oh look, we're like right there. The Master Chief just walked 70 kilometers.
Ship looks intact.
Something tells me that's only because the Didact wanted it that way.
Here he is, Mr. Lasky.
This is Sierra 117 of the UNSC Forward Unto Dawn. We're on station, ready to assist.
Signal's bouncing in and out. I can't clean it up.
Light up their friend or foe tags. We're gonna need something to zero in on.
And I guess that's it. Infinity. I'll take a quick look at this vista ahead of us. Oh no, we can't actually move down the cliff. Because again, it's Halo 4, that's all effectively a matte painting, and I'm sure if I turn around and go to the actual level, yep, I'm just moving through a corridor disguised as jungle. Great. Gee, I wanted to play like this level over here. I want to go on like a Death Stranding Lindy walk into that mountain, but I guess I can't. And that thing's going to make that retarded big scary monster noise this whole time. That's just super. Yeah, I can tell I'm gonna like this level plenty. But anyway, yeah, we'll call this one here. I hope you enjoyed that, and next video, maybe we'll finally get to look at Marines and see how they managed to ruin that. Hope you liked this one.